It's August 24th, 2014, and we want to know, is Grumpy Cat the newest gateway character for readers of DC Comics?
Is Brainiac quite possibly the worst wingman in the cosmos?
All this and more is coming up next. It's episode 87 of DCR, starting now.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Hey everybody, Sean Lamont here, comic book reader extraordinaire, bringing you the only podcast that is a sound investment on the Pod Exchange. We promise. It's the only safe bet out there. All the other ones are pretty risky, so make sure you invest there. Of course, it is the DCR podcast, the 87th episode, I want to say.
Yes.
But it's kind of a weird one because we're short some people. So I, of course, am Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, and I am joined by Punmeister General. What else do you want to be?
The eminence of comics.
The eminence of comics. The guy that says all the weird things. The guy who can't get poor Red Robin's name right. Mr. Brian Glein. Hello, sir.
Hey, Sean.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
Yeah? It's early in the day. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I have energy. I have verve, but I don't have a third mic.
No.
And that's throwing me off. Like I should be saying things about a third person that's here, but we don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I fear change. I fear change. That's why I'm into comics. So,
Waka.
So let's get the usual spiel out of the way, back into some safety, some normalcy. We are a spoiler cast. We're going to go over all the books that came out from DC Comics in their new 52 line, talk about the things that happen in them. Brian, are you going to talk about anything with comic books?
I guess.
Maybe some character stuff? Are you at least going to mention a character or two?
Plot beats?
Maybe?
Yeah. There's one book where I'm probably not going to mention any characters whatsoever.
That's going to be awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. But as such, if you do not want your book spoiled, do not listen to this particular episode. I do wish I could find the Pod Exchange, though, because I would take us public like that. Let's do some questions, comments.
Gotta find it on the Undernet.
The Undernet. Questions, comments, concerns, and corrections. Not too many for this week. We have Multiversity coming up that I'm trying to save some time for because I was expecting us to have to explain the multiverse to someone, and I didn't think it was going to be a quick endeavor. At least the nuances of the multiverse, so to speak. So the first one comes to us from Tala Urshad and says, "Oh, I have a question. Have you or Brian read or reread anything in preparation for Morrison's Multiversity? I personally have gone and read Flash of Two Worlds, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Final Crisis, and Action Comics Volume 2, number 9. And actually, funny enough, we were just doing our little swapperoos here before. So, Brian actually just took Crisis on Infinite Earths last week. Did you read that one yet?
I'm through the first chapter.
Okay, gotcha.
It's one of those few things. It's one of those things I always meant to read and never got around to it.
It's old school.
Then you had it. It's pretty old school.
It's old school. I mean,
I'm charmed as heck by Killer Frost and Firestorm already, though.
That is kind of cute.
It is unbelievably old school. Little dated.
It's more than a little dated, I think.
Male-female roles, but it's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's more than a little dated when it comes to the character role stuff, but it has an interesting story, and by the end of it, I think you might be confused why everyone's saying DC is so dark. Because a lot of people die in that book.
Yeah.
Incessantly. It's insanity. But I have also been going back. We've basically got our hands on a couple trades, and we're trying to pick through some of the major storyline events as far as I'm up through Identity Crisis, which I want to talk about at some point.
Okay.
Because
I'm going to reread it when I'm done with Crisis.
I know. Brian and I had differing opinions from what he remembered of it and what my newly read person thought of it. So it was a little bit of a conflict there. So I do want to at least talk it out at some point once he rereads it. And I am up to basically Infinity Crisis. I just finished all the countdown stuff, except for the Ranthanagar War. I think and Day of Vengeance. I still have those two to read.
And that's a fun Secret Six lead-in.
Yes,
right?
the Villains United. I just read that one.
Yeah.
Yes, quite fun. Quite fun.
Yes.
If all the rumors of Gail Simone bringing back Secret Six, and after rereading that, or actually just reading that one, I have read Secret Six stuff before. I really, really look forward to it. If that's
so great.
But we're on our way through.
I just reread Seven Soldiers for mind you, the third time, but
and he just dumped that off with me. Yeah. So I see
your 52
sans one volume
books piling up over there on the shelf.
Yep. So I'm picking up, as I said, the major stuff. I have a timeline that I'm following that's basically the bare essentials to understand the big stuff that happened, basically crisis to crisis to crisis, and hopefully that will at least get me somewhat knowledgeable. We'll see where it goes from there. Next one, though, is a comment that came across from Facebook, kind of a correction, and I kind of feel like we really dropped the ball. And this Tom Tunsky, he wrote us a message, and I believe he is 100% correct. We were talking about the new book last episode that is coming out called Lobo, with both of the Lobos, both Sexy Time Lobo and old school, what do you call him, Fat Lobo?
Well, you call him Fat Lobo.
Yes. The two of them going off and having adventures together, and I was calling it Lobos because I just wanted to call it Los Locos Lobos at some point. Mm-hmm. But as he pointed out, he is disappointed. It is, in fact, Lobros.
Mm-hmm.
Lobros. How did we not jump on that grenade? It was a bad move by us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tom. You have just coined the term for us, and we will be using it henceforth.
Yes.
Last question, though, for this episode comes from Dan French, who asks, you guys make mention of online forums where people discuss comics, DC, Vertigo, etc. Which forums are the better ones? I've gotten heavily into comics, thanks in a large part to you guys, but can't seem to get my friends to come down the rabbit hole with me. Are any fun, or are they all kind of, full of internet jerks hating on everything? It is the internet, so caveat that with anything we say from this point forward. It is a hive of scum and villainy. It's all it is right off the bat. Brian, what do you hit? What is your little safety area, or do you even have one?
I had a safety area. It's kind of dried up.
Aww.
It seems that Facebook has usurped it. A lot of the people who posted there are actually now writing.
I'm going to take a wild stab. Project Rooftop.
No.
Okay.
No. It hasn't posted anything in a while, but no, it's just a place that was sort of a private little area that I found out through a friend, and it's not there anymore, so it's not even worth pointing anyone to.
Oh, well, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, sorry, everybody.
Is this the one that one of the gentlemen who is currently writing for DC was on?
Yes.
And you were just like, we're not saying nice things about it.
I hope he writes good. I hope he writes something good. Yes. Yes. And he did, thank goodness.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, it's really, really rough out there, to be honest.
It seems like Twitter and Facebook is kind of taking over stuff, and then there's the big sites have their forums, but whenever I look at it, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, you have your CBRs.
Don't look under the bed.
You have your Reddits. Yeah, that was one of our rules to enjoying comics, was basically avoid all forums.
Or even just comments. The don't look under the bed applies to comments.
Yeah, just don't read comments ever. But if you pick your way through, you can find some good stuff on Reddit. I know there's some people that are actually really fun, especially on the DC specific board. But even then, there's a lot of people that are a little salty still with the new 52 that kind of poke their heads in all the time and make a couple comments. So
why is not everything about Ted Kord and Booster Gold?
Well, I can understand it. People have their thing. You were the same way, not but a couple when this whole thing started. If you recall.
Well, that's what I was supposed to do.
No, even after the, when we first started discussing comics and you were just kind of like, yeah, I read the first 3 issues and it was just like nothing really grabbed me, but you weren't really reading any of the good stuff coming out of the gate. So it was like, well, no, try this instead.
Yes.
And here you are. But yeah, it's your mileage may vary, something fierce. The major ones. Pretty much. I'm sorry we don't have a good answer for you there. But that's it. That'll be all of our questions, comments, concerns for this episode. So what do you say, Brian? We stop the dilly-dallying and jump into this week's books?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So we are starting off with Teen Titans.
We are starting off with Teen Titans.
The Typin' Titans.
The Typin' Titans.
At hashtag Teen Titans. Number 2.
Did it have that all over the...
Teen Titans hashtag 2.
You can't hashtag 2.
It's the number sign. It's a hashtag.
I guess. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
All right. So, at Pfeiffer and at Rocafort are bringing us Teen Titans number 2. I don't even think they did that this time.
I don't know. I
don't remember seeing it. I can't even make that joke anymore. But it starts off, Bunker is being all grouchy after he's become a viral video sensation for roughing up a gay basher. So Beast Boy tries to cheer him up by showing him his viral video where he poses with a bunch of schoolgirls as an all-green grumpy cat. And it's kind of hilarious. I'm just going to say this right off the bat. Rocafort draws Beast Boy as an animal like 90% of the issue, and it is great.
Yes, every panel he is a different animal practically.
He's a different animal. They all look adorable. They're all making hilarious like faces that animals shouldn't be able to make.
And it's all
great.
Animal puns that have to do with what's happening in the panel at the same time, too.
Yes.
So, did you just grouch about it the entire time? Where you're like, oh, look at all these hexagons and stuff. Meh.
No, I didn't. Actually, there weren't that many hexagons.
No, there weren't at all. He must have listened to you, obviously.
Oh, yes.
And said, I must tone back the hexagon.
Polygons.
Whatever.
Yes. So after Beast Boy and Bunker bro out, Red Robin Tim Drake, who as we all know in 5 years will be living under the name Nibley Myerscough,
Oh, jeez.
goes and tries to get in.
He's not in Future's End this week, is he?
No, he's not.
Ah, you jerk.
He goes and tries to get in. I'm glad I still had this. He goes and tries to get info about the leader of the Suicide Bombers gang leader from last issue. And so the one person who survived from that whole ordeal after being hospitalized by Wonder Girl, he's about to spill when suddenly his Star Labs monitoring system flatlines him, and he just dies.
Well,
It's a brand new Star Labs device. How could it possibly have gone wrong?
was it
They're
under
the best
warranty?
thing.
Were they able to take it back? These are the questions I need to know,
I know.
Brian.
I know. I think once you plug it into someone, it's got person goop on it, so you can't return it.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
These return policies are draconian.
Yes. We also check in with a girl by the name of Teresa Cicero, who it flat out says does not have a superhuman identity yet. So I think she might be joining the Teen Titans sometime soon.
No.
We know she's super cool. She's got those dimple piercings that I don't quite understand because I'm old.
Oh,
So
grumpy.
old. I'm so old.
Are you a grumpy cat?
I'm not even a grumpy cat. I'm just like, I don't understand them at all. They don't make any sense to me. She's about to get mugged when suddenly she gets saved by a group of girls street vigilantes, all dressed as K-pop sensations, the Wonder Girls. Or just Wonder Girl from the Teen Titans, one of the two.
See, I was afraid it was another roving gang of roller derby girls at first because the lead one's wearing roller skates, and I was like, oh no, Harley Quinn, where are you? We need you.
Yes, one was wearing roller skates. So we will check in with that in a couple issues, I'm sure. Bunker and Beast Boy, there's a crisis alert. That's a Star Labs facility is being blown up by the suicide bomber we met last issue who got away. And when Bunker goes and is alone with her, he explodes her head after finding out she's a robot.
Ah, well, you can do that to robots.
Yeah.
Robots.
The floor explodes.
That's a little less useful.
Yeah, she figured out she made it explode, but he turns his little tiny psionic bricks into fire suppression foam and saves the day again.
Yay,
Bunker is
Parker!
super effective. Like, I'm going to make these powers do everything.
Bunker uses tiny bricks. It's super effective.
Super effective. He's already got his Pokemon in Beast Boy.
Yeah.
You can just throw.
Beast Boy, I choose you again.
Turn into a Pikachu or something. Go right ahead.
I don't think he can turn into a Pikachu.
I don't know. He can turn into a grumpy cat.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's still a cat, I suppose. But
Yes. I think it has to be an actual animal. I don't think you can just make stuff. Has he ever turned into like a dragon or a a unicorn or anything like that.
He turns into like llamas and dinosaurs and stuff, which were animals at one point.
Yes, so I mean, it has to be an actual animal here, no mythological. Yeah, although there are like unicorns and Pegasus eyes as eyes.
In the DC universe, they totally exist.
So maybe there are Pikachus.
So maybe there is a Tepig or something, you know. I know too much about Pokemon now. All right, so meanwhile, the robot, whose name is Algorithm, goes off somewhere and rebuilds herself. Robot, sorry. So sorry. Goes off somewhere and rebuilds herself in the company of Manchester Black.
Uh-oh.
The guy with the pink hair who works for Star Labs.
And he's British.
He's got his leather jacket that he has opened to show his Union Jack tattooed on his chest. And yeah, he's the extremist superhero / villain he was before. They're going to go and invade a black metal concert that Raven is at.
Just a black metal concert. A black metal concert that seems to be in honor of Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the subplot that's going on, where all of the Teen Titans are becoming cults of personality.
Yes.
Between Beast Boy as Grumpy Cat out there, and he's all over the place, and then Wonder Girl obviously has a bunch of vigilantes copying her. And
yeah, it's a really nice through line of, like, we joke about the social media aspect, but that's really sort of what they're kind of building this whole storyline around.
Yeah,
how internet and, youth celebrity works and how it would work with young superheroes these days. I just find it
hysterical that Raven goes to the concert in honor of her and is just like looking around like, this is kind of weird. I'm from a hell dimension. But by the end, she's smiling.
She's smiling. Well, the black metal concert is totally, Cookie Monster vocals and whatnot. That's her cup of tea. She's like, oh man, these are my people. This is great.
He's casting a spell.
Yep. And may I also add, there's a pretty Pegasus poster up in the Teen Titans headquarters that Raven Pegasus put up there, and that made me so happy. so happy.
It doesn't take much for you, does it?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Would it just make your day if Cyborg just popped up and was like, booyah, and then just laughed?
So it would make me so happy. Yes, it's handling all this youth stuff in the exact opposite way that the Green Team was, and I think it's working very, very well for it.
I like the format. I like a lot of the stuff.
You're gonna complain about Bunker, aren't you?
I am. Bunker's he's gotta kick that, man. That's so not him.
Okay.
And I'm not a stickler for it. I understand we have like the whole, he is coming from a point of oppression right now, and he feels like he is being downtrodden, but when he turns to Beast Boy and tells him, you don't know what I've been through, after Beast Boy just got done living through a hell arena where everyone had to kill each other to survive. I'm kind of like, you might want to reel that back a little bit, Bunker. It's just
Ravagers didn't actually happen.
I think that's just like, whoop, wipe that slate clean.
Look, it's me, it's Warblade. I'm okay. I'm all smiley again.
I screwed my head back on.
Yes. I'm actually the amazing screw-on head.
I'm going to try out for the Legion of Superheroes any day now.
Mm-hmm.
What it is, though, is as long as he eventually gets back, I love the fact that...
He's still got a whole story arc to finish.
I know.
So.
I'm not jumping on it. It's just my only gripe on it right now. I still love Roquefort's art. You know that.
Yeah.
And I think it really shines very well with the bright color palette in this particular title. But... I love Beast Boy having a chance to be, I'm trying to cheer up someone, because usually he was always doing that with Cyborg in the cartoons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's got that role to fill still, but it's like, okay, well, do it. Cheer him up. Make him happy again.
Yes.
I want the fun, goofy adventures of these two once more. The only bright spot that came out of the previous volume of this.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
I know.
So, speaking of, not that this has anything to do with anyone who was writing this title previously, Red Hood and the Outlaws number 34 also came out this week.
Okay.
Some things happened in it.
Did people do stuff?
They did. They
Okay.
did, in fact. In this one, though, Starfire had found a pod that was containing a bunch of dead slaves and flew off in a furious rage, looking to make someone pay for just slaving in general, I guess. And she seems to have a pretty good lead on where it was at, so she flew off to Abu Dhabi in some posh little resort town where a little party was being thrown.
Normal.
And Normal may have been there, but Normal was actually an alien in disguise.
Okay.
But you didn't know that.
No, I did not.
Well, now you do. And she ended up just beating up everyone there until this giant hulking alien came out to confront her, and she embarrasses him. Just smacks him around, tosses him around. The guy's name is Trevorall. Apparently they've crossed paths before. And what it is she just hauls him out and says, "Where's your boss? Where's the slave master? I know he's here on Earth. You're going to tell me where he's at." And he eventually tells her where he is. Now, back at Shade headquarters, that tiny little marble floating around in space that's all trashed because Starfire flew right through it, and little bees are flying above it still, looking down like, what the heck? Inside there, they're trying to find Starfire because she flew off in such a rage, and they just can't get their instruments to do it. They're like, oh my god, this sucks. Of course, Ray Palmer, the Atom, is there. Well, yeah, I guess he is the Atom. He did finally claim he was going to become so. And a little guy by the name of Man Bat is there as well.
I did read this one. I like this. It just said sometimes he's a man bat.
Sometimes
he's a man bat.
Sometimes. And Roy Harper just kind of embarrasses them all by just reaching over the shoulder of the Shade technicians and just going bloop bloop and going, there she is. Okay, we're gonna go take care of that. Shade is a little salty about it, and they end up giving these two 1 hour to bring her back before they send out Shade to haul her in. Now we're gonna leave this exotic place, this tiny little microscopic marble floating through space, for another mostly exotic place, and that is the city of Malibu. It's about the same. It's, pretty exotic, right?
Yeah.
In comparison to a tiny microscopic floating marble in space. There's an old man inside a house there along the beach who is putting his grandchild to sleep, and he's just like, oh, good night, little baby. Have a good night's sleep. And as he turns around, the lightning crackles, and he sees in the window a familiar face, and that face is the angry, scowling, raging face of Starfire as she comes in. And it turns out that this old man, before he grew old, was a slave master. Not just a slave master, but Starfire's slave master, back when she was a slave as a child. She has a little bit of animosity towards this guy.
It's weird that an intergalactic slave trader would go move to Malibu and kind of look like the Big Lebowski.
He does look a lot like the Big Lebowski.
I was kind of confused by that.
I thought Starfire was going to pee on his rug.
Interesting life. Yes.
And then he would have to go to the the Outlaws and be like, I just want my rug replaced. Come on, man. But in this case, she has come to execute him, and he is pretty resigned about the whole thing. He goes, yeah, I kind of knew this day was going to come. I've lived a good life. Can we at least take it outside so you don't murder me in front of my grandchild? Can I at least get that much? And she complies. She's a merciful outlaw, I guess. And takes him outside and puts her hand on the back of his head as he's kneeling on the ground and is about to blast his head off when both Roy and Jason show up and go, whoa, slow your roll there, Starfire. I know we're kind of anti-heroes. We, don't follow all the rules, but
Jason does love stabbing things.
He does, and it's we kind of don't condone the cold-blooded murder. Can we not do that? And Starfire even turns around and goes, Jason, you of all people, this is what you did for years. You came back to life. You had serrated knives. You stabbed people. You shot people. Everyone who wronged you, you murdered them outright. And why would you tell me to not do this? He goes, well, that was good enough for me. I'm kind of ragey anti-hero. You aren't really that person. I don't want that to be you. So if you could just...
There's a lot of people who read this book that don't want you to be.
Yeah, do you realize the fan mail that we would get if you just murdered this person in cold blood?
And got enough the first 20 issue.
Yeah, no kidding. She finally decides, fine, I won't do it because they have told her not to, but she is royally ticked about it and flies away. Unfortunately, the old man slaver had, I guess, reached a point where he was resigned, he was ready to die, and he grabs the explosive arrow that Roy Harper had and plunges it into his face and explodes his head. Oops.
Yeah.
That was kind of pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit. Meanwhile, Starfire returns back to their starship base, paces back and forth, very angry, very upset, just kind of gives up, honestly, and looks over to the safe on the wall, opens it up, and the next page that we see, the final page that we see, she is hopped up on the same drugs that they gave her to keep her in line as a slave and just laying on the beach, enjoying the buzz. So Starfire is going back to drugs to just bury the pain once more. Yay, Starfire!
Yay!
Booyah!
2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Glibnork, Glibnork.
Actually, if you, as I said, I looked ahead on this one last month for the. This is just a start, man.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's gonna be good or if it's just gonna go someplace dark.
Man.
I did enjoy the banter, though. You read it, right?
Yeah,
you said so. Do you see what I like about the
I
Lebel?
see what you like about it, yes.
It's these characters are broken. This is more of a support group than a super group. And it's basically these 20-something kids trying to find their way and leaning on one another to basically guide each other in what their fortes are. Like, oh, good, I'm good at the murdering people. Well, I'm good at the not murdering people. So let's kind of gauge and find a middle ground between the two of us.
Disabling people, come on.
And I really like that. I think it plays out really well with these 3 characters, and I think
This is quite possibly the most interesting version of Arsenal I've ever read.
Yes, and it's fun.
Certainly light years ahead of Dead Cat swinging our action Arsenal.
I'm loving the fact that it's now going to be his girlfriend is hopped up on drugs, and he's going to be like, is this what I was like? Is this what I did? So, we'll see, but I'm liking the book still. I'm just a little wary about where it's going, but I will at least let it play out before I make any complaints about it, of course. So.
Okay.
What do you got next?
All right. I
Let's
think
see
we're
if you
keeping
know.
it young, right?
Yes.
So I think we got Infinity Man and the Forever People, number 3.
True story.
The true story of 5 strangers from New Genesis pick to live in a house, Lucy, I'm home, and have their lives taped and find out what happens when new gods stop being polite and start getting real. It's the real world Prime Earth.
Yeah! Woo!
Ow! So, we start off. All the Forever People are gathered around at their peanut butter farm in the Middle East.
Of course.
When the Infinity Man tells everyone that they're going to have to learn to live with Mantis, even though he ate all of Big Bear's peanut butter.
I think you're being a little loose with the interpretations about it.
Lets Big Bear know that it's all his fault that he turned into a rampaging locust monster and ate all of his peanut butter.
You don't know me. You don't know what I had to go through to get here.
And then a beautiful dreamer gets so upset by their fighting that she passes out and gets confronted by an unbelievably generic floating skull.
No mere floating skull, though.
Well, he's just like, are you scared of me? And she's like, no, I bought a scarier looking skull from a pop-up Halloween store in an abandoned Circuit City. Why are you acting like you're so scary? You're a surprisingly generic looking floating skull.
Do you know who she's talking to, though?
Who do you think it is?
The anti-life equation itself.
Yeah. The anti-life, yeah. Yeah, so...
Like some sort of manifestation of the anti-life equation that I guess they store inside her?
Yeah, she seems to have the anti-life inside of her, and she'll have to choose whether or not she wants to use it.
You know where she should go with the anti-life equation? There's this awesome concert going on in New York City called Raven and the Dark Sisters.
Yes. They would think that is so metal. Yeah, so she's going to have to choose whether she wants to use it or not, while the original versions of the new gods and an uncomfortably modern Kyle Rayner stand over her, watching in judgment.
Why is he uncomfortably modern?
I don't know, he's wearing his current costume.
Oh, you mean in comparison to the other new gods?
The new gods
stuff?
who are wearing their original generic Jack Kirby costumes that do not mesh with any of their other depictions.
I don't think you need to worry about that for too much longer.
Okay, gotcha. So, back on New Genesis... A PA rushes in and tells head producer Hyman that they've discovered Infinity Man hanging out with them. And goes, 6 strangers, eh? Hey, Viking's nameless girlfriend. We need 7 strangers down there. Get down on Earth and keep an eye on those Forever People, okay? Okay.
So wait, is she joining as staff or is she actually moving into the house with them?
It's possible.
Oh, I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, I don't know if he's counting Infinity Man or the Mother Box. It can give or take either way.
Are they all going to go to a bar and get pumped up, I guess, and drink and then the Mother Box is going to hook up with Infinity Man?
It's possible.
And it's just going to cause a whole bunch of
really
melodrama.
Awkward. And then who knows what happens when you put the Mother Box inside of the jacuzzi?
Oh,
nothing good can come from that.
No. That
Nothing
Mother
good.
Box is a floozy, let me tell you.
Yep. So then, Viking boom tubes everyone except him and Bear back to their house, but then it explodes and takes their peanut butter farm with them. Oh no!
We just got the casting done.
We just got the casting done. Oh. Are we gonna have to get Light Ray down here?
True story. Who's Light Ray?
He's a new god.
Okay.
Forager. He's like a bug.
Oh, I
person.
know the bugs. They just got introduced into the video game.
Okay.
Yeah, and they forage up armor for me.
Okay.
They're very useful.
Very good for them.
So what did you think of this one? You know who drew this one, right?
Yeah, I know who drew this one.
Okay, I'm just
I know
curious.
who drew this one.
Okay, you were being a little salty about it, so most people were kind of happy to see him come back, since I guess this is kind of his wheelhouse.
I guess. I don't know. I was complaining about, who was it? I was complaining about the guy who was doing it last issue, but I will take his consistency over this. I would like any kind of consistency in this book, period.
I think it comes back to it. Giffen was busy elsewhere with some other stuff he was working on, so it's supposed to be his book, and he has that proto
and I think he's
style that he was
doing breakdowns on Future's End or something.
Yeah. So he was wrapping up his obligations there, and this had to go because of the whole Godhead thing, and this is going to be crossing over with that. So, so it's kind of we got to get it out the door. Well, I got to do this. Okay, well, we'll just rotate a couple people for the first couple issues, and then you come back on.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about consistency moving forward, it looks like.
Yeah.
And it'll just be a matter of whether you like that old school art, or at least an homage to it.
Yeah.
And how it plays out in this particular thing.
I think of the three, I would probably pick the first issue above anything else.
Yeah, the whole big thing is in the Godhead crossover that's coming up with the Green Lanterns and the New Gods. It's been explicitly stated they're all getting makeovers.
Okay.
So that's why I'm curious if this is just up until that point, or if maintaining that old school style, they're going to keep the old costumes in this book, which would be kind of weird.
I don't know.
I don't know what they're going to do with that, but it has been explicitly stated everyone's getting a makeover.
They don't even have the old costumes, though. They've just got very generic costumes.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, the Forever people were like dressing up as cowboys and crap originally.
Just cause?
There's one that was dressed up like a cowboy, but now he's a girl. I don't know.
Was it Big Bear?
No. It was the male version that is now Serafina.
Okay.
They came to Earth and they just affected like all the like old timey like archetype things that people would dress up as back then.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Was one dressed up like an astronaut too? And
one was dressed up like a leather guy. One was dressed up as a construction worker. One was just a policeman. You know.
Why does everyone keep telling us to go to the YMCA? I don't understand this plane of existence. Speaking of planes of existence,
yes,
I got another book though, because Pandora.
Okay,
I know what you were thinking. You thought I was going to say Multiversity, but no, that's after Pandora. You must wait your turn.
Yeah, I know.
Pandora number 14 from Fox and Portela. And all I can say about this particular issue, it's the last issue of Pandora.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Trinity of Sin, Pandora, number 14.
It's in Pandora.
Did you read this?
No, I did not.
If this is where this book was going, I feel I cheated myself. I feel my complaints were completely unwarranted because this was leading to a place that is absolutely a blast.
That seems to be a thing where the last issue is like, oh, wait, this book that we are...
This ends so strong that I'm just like, oh, no, that's exactly what I want. And now it's over. I mean, it's going into the whole Trinity of Sin book, so we'll get there. I think it does set up some stuff. What it is that it is Pandora herself, her new best friend Giganta, and the Shade Agent Kincaid, our were-raven, are now vampire hunters. What's that?
Where's the Raven?
No, just were-raven.
Okay.
They're vampire hunters in Baltimore. Kincaid asked them, hey, Shade said we have a vampire
in Baltimore.
Nest. I know. I know. You get it? You get it?
I see what they did there.
It? Basically, they've been drafted in to help out because she has an immortal killer and didn't kill Pandora, so they go, okay, I guess we'll help since you didn't murder me and you did help out with that whole Vandal Savage thing. And they basically just come plowing into this vampire nest, slaughtering it's like an episode or an issue of Blade where they're just murdering vampires left and right.
Is there a rave going on at the time?
There is not. But as the vampires
no blood,
no blood sprinklers or anything.
No blood sprinklers.
As the vampires are trying to escape Pandora and Kincaid as they're just busting through the dodo.
There at least a blood slip and slide.
No, there is not. The vampires are trying to escape, and they're jumping out the window where Giganta is standing there catching them and popping their heads off with her thumb, laughing maniacally about how great it is to be a good guy.
While squishing their heads between her thumb and forefinger?
Yes!
I'm crushing her head. I'm crushing her head.
I was going to make a little bunny foo-foo joke, but apparently I've learned over the years that I grew up in a very deranged portion of the world. Brian, the little bunny foo-foo song, you know this, right?
Pops them on the head.
That's not how I learned it growing up.
Man.
He pops off their heads.
Wow.
And the whole thing was
I went to public school.
You would make the little bunny ears with one hand, and you would have a dandelion in the other hand, and little bunny foo-foo would hop up, and when you popped off the head of the dandelion, that was the whole point.
What kind of twisted nether dimension did you grow up in? Did you hang out with Raven when you were growing up?
Apparently, because that was like the first thing that pops into my head. I'm like, oh, she's little bunny foo-fooing them. And then I remembered my time in the military where everyone looked at me like, you're kind of jacked up, if that's what it was. And don't ask how that came up in the military, because that's morose in its own right, right there.
Oh, jeez. All right.
But it is a kind of regional. I'm not the only person. There are little pockets all over the U.S. at least that also learned it this way. And this is completely tangential, but we have learned it. Little bunny foo-foo popped off their heads. And that was why the good little fairy got so mad. If you listen to the Disney version, it was smooching them on the heads. And I think that was just, I don't know, too forward of an action for the bunny.
At least take them out to dinner first, little bunny foo-foo.
I was trying to figure out why the fairy would be so mad about that, but I guess that's what it is.
Sure, little wooden boy's real, but I don't know.
So
you need to slow down. No means no, little bunny foo-foo.
Let's reel this back before we start going into some dark territory. Let's talk about some vampires again.
Okay.
They're getting slaughtered, and Pandora ends up chasing one into a back room where all of a sudden Andrew Bennett jumps out and he's like, aha! An undead!
Spooky.
I see you, undead person, and starts stabbing at Pandora, and she's just standing there going, I'm not a vampire. I'm actually here killing the vampires. And Andrew Bennett's just like, stab. And she's like, no, really, you can stop that at any moment. He's like, oh, okay. Stab. Okay, well, let's go kill some vampires. And they go running on through. They find the main nest. They kill all of the vampires except for a couple and save all the civilians. And everyone's like, yay! We are actually a pretty awesome team between Giganta, Pandora, Agent Kincaid, and Andrew Bennett. We should form our own super team. And they're all kind of like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. But, of course, Andrew Bennett has things to do. Got to get back to Gotham. Just moved back there recently. So, see you guys later. Have a good one. I'm out. But you three, go have a good time. And Giganta's all stoked about being a good guy because she wasn't aware it was just murdering things while getting paid. So the three of them go running off. Yeah! Freeze frame as they fly off into the sky, which I'm assuming is exactly how Phantom Stranger ended, where it was Zoriel, the Phantom Stranger, and Dr. 13 flying off. Freeze frame. Yeah!
Yeah, that was essentially how it ended.
Are we getting a new Justice League Dark type thing in Trinity of Sin where it's going to be Giganta, Kincaid, Pandora? Are they bringing their supporting cast with them? Because
that's a good question.
If they do, this Trinity of Sin book could be really, really fun.
Yes.
Especially since the Question already has some ties, at least with Dr. 13. Not good ties, but some ties. So, I mean, he can kind of work his way in there, but these characters could be a lot of fun together.
They could.
But this issue, so much fun! It was just reckless abandon. Yeah, go out there and have fun, you girls. Just enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
That's all I needed.
Pandora, just a little bit bogged down by crossovers.
Yeah,
I remember reading an issue of Pandora, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun.
Yeah. So, as I said,
in the middle of, what was that never-ending crossover? That, 18-part crossover?
Blight?
Blight, there we go.
Blight did run a little long.
My most favorite of crossovers.
The Blight on our pocketbooks. Yes. So, speaking of, not quite a Blight on our pocketbook, though. This is very contained. Surprisingly contained. There's this book that came out this week, Brian, that I think you were going to cover.
Yeah.
From some author that you enjoy. And
a guy named Grant Grant something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Ulysses S. Grant wrote this.
Yes.
And
Former President
Ulysses S. Grant. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if someone
seriously.
if someone just put out there, Ulysses S. Grant wrote this. Sure. Whatever, honestly. And that is Multiversity number 1. And Brian's taking the helm
Grant
because
Morrison and Ivan Rice.
This is not your
Dropping
first
a train
rodeo
on us. No.
So that's why I'm handing the reins over to you.
All right. So we check in on Nix Wotan, who we have not seen since Final Crisis.
I haven't seen since Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Does he show up there?
I'm assuming that's the same one.
No, he's the last monitor. You haven't gotten to Final Crisis yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
Yeah, we haven't seen him since.
You just spoiled it, didn't you? Oh, you fool!
How dare you? But he is the last of the monitors, and he's hanging out in his apartment, reading his weekly pull list and chatting on message boards.
Hey.
Yeah, about
what board is he on? We can tell Dan French.
I know.
What board is he on?
Shoot, what was it called?
The Cosmic
Comics,
something
yeah.
or other.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have it.
Yeah, so he's commenting on the upcoming issue of Ultra Comics, which is a thing that's actually going to be coming out in about 6 months or so.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so using clues from that, he decides to go to Earth 7, but not before he turns into his superhero alter ego of Super Judge, and his plush pirate monkey, Mr. Stubbs, comes to life.
Okay.
Yes.
Pause. Just right there. Pause. Is this a conscious action by him? Does the kid reading the comic books over on whichever Earth that is know that he is Nixu Otan and he actually teleports himself over there as Super Judge? Or is this this kid has no idea who he is in this other realm of existence because the monitors are outside of the whole thing and he just kind of shifts over, and as soon as he shifts over, he realizes he's Super Judge, but when he shifts back, he doesn't.
Just have a big old bottle of Zoloft sitting there next to his computer, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't understand that part because it was done with the whole, the transition was that the monkey was looking at him through like the whole, like he was holding his thumb and forefinger together.
His finger eyeglasses, yeah.
Yeah, and then as soon as he looked at him through the hole of his fingers, that was when he appeared as the other guy. So it was like a perception thing, or
there is a point where we flash back and he's just sitting in his apartment still, even though all this crazy stuff's going on.
Yeah, and so I don't know if you have the answer to that question. I don't think anyone does.
I don't think we have the answer to that until this is all over.
Fair enough.
So.
I just wanted to point out that it is kind of odd already.
It's a bit, yeah. So he teleports over to Earth 7, where he comes across a bunch of dead Avengers. And there's an Aboriginal Thor, named the Thunderer, who is the last hero standing against the Gentry, a bunch of horror villains who talk like internet commenters.
You got that too, huh?
Yeah, just a bit. So Super Judge saves the Thunderer and takes his place in a fight against Intellectron, a bat eyeball, Dame Merciless, a giant wraith nightmare lady, Hell Machine, a multi-eyed octopus with a crown of skyscrapers.
Is Hell Machine opening for Lady Raven and the maidens or whatever?
Yep. Demo Gorgon, a giant made of naked people, and Lord Broken, a living crooked house full of eyeballs. Pretty standard comic book fare there. Gotta try a little bit harder there, Grant Morrison. So...
I sense that you were being sarcastic.
I love everything about this so much.
Okay, so pause times 2.
Yes.
Times 2 here. These Gentry.
Yes.
I know you don't have an answer. All these questions I'm asking you, I'm not expecting you to have an answer.
At this point, yeah.
I'm basically questioning you to see what you're leaning towards. Who do you think these people are, these monsters, these things? Their main goal is to make others like them.
Yes.
You will stop being unique. You will be like us. You will be broken. You will be intelligent. You will be put away your childish things, kind of, it seems.
Yeah.
What are you getting
You'll be dark,
from this?
You'll be brooding. You'll start putting a lot of extra lines on your costume that you don't need.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is that the route you're going?
That's kind of the route I'm going.
The route I was going was the whole internet itself, was the Gentry are the fans online right now. which is why I put Dan French's question in at the beginning here, because I thought it kind of fitting to a theme I was getting from this first issue, which very well may not be the theme.
Yeah.
Discussing any themes and stuff like that is very moot until we have the entirety of it, as I learned just from reading Action Comics that run.
Yes.
Because
there's like 18 themes all on top of each other, and you can
and I didn't
interpret
even put together the
any which
overarching
way.
story until 14 or 15.
Yeah.
So it was a good 14, 15 issues where you were just like, Morrison's good, and I'm like, I'm taking this on faith right now because I am lost as crap.
Yep.
Okay.
So meanwhile, so he's going to take on the Gentry. Meanwhile, on Earth 23, President Superman, Calvin Ellis, is fighting a robot made of things that can't be found on his universe.
Who we saw in Action Comics number 9.
Okay, that's
in Grant Morrison's Action Comics.
Are we talking about Calvin, or are we
Calvin.
talking about the robot?
Action Comics number 9 of the New 52.
I know we've seen President Superman before in Action
Yeah,
Comics. So it's
that
specifically
Action
number
Comics,
9 if you want to catch up.
That
on
number
it.
9 is kind of a lead-in to Multiversity.
Yeah, 'cause
there's a bunch of stuff in this particular issue referenced from that issue.
Yeah,
it's not necessary, but it has some ground setting at least.
Gives you a little extra stuff, like if you read Justice League, the first 3 issues of Justice League Classified before you read Seven Soldiers.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I gave you that trade as well.
Okay, fair enough.
So he consults with his Justice League when suddenly a cube made by a drug-addled Lex Luthor, which I believe is also from that issue,
Correct.
Starts sending out an SOS, and he gets sucked through it into the House of Heroes.
It looks like a giant H dial on the map.
It does.
Which is awesome.
It's the Multiversity, a place where heroes from all 52 Earths in the multiverse converge to take on multiversal threats. He is immediately greeted by Captain Carrot. It's like the classic version of Captain Carrot, but he's more realistic looking, and he's already my new favorite character.
He seems to have won over a lot of people with this issue.
He is amazing. There's no way around it. So the Thunderer has taken control of the Orrery of Worlds, which you will get more of in Final Crisis, to pay back Nick Wotan for saving his life.
And where they end up setting up shop there, where everyone's at, it's the Monitor's satellite from Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Ah, yes.
So that's like the whole big thing where they're like trying to plot out their next moves and everything. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
Right, yeah, because I read this and then I started reading Infinite Earths after that.
And you're like,
For instance, I now know a lot more about the Harbinger.
Yes!
a character who, in my original notes, just says, a character whose sole purpose is to show up and say, crap's about to hit the fan, everybody!
Crisis!
Crisis alert! Crisis alert!
So she was the pre-52 Veritas.
Yes. Yeah, so she shows up on their monitors and goes, crap's about to hit the fan, everybody!
You know who else has that role that I've found? Now, mind you, I'm still a little behind.
Yeah.
Lady Quark seems to pop up in a lot of these things.
She showed up in Vibe. She's in the big screen. She's in the big scene.
Yeah, she's in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay, I haven't gotten to her yet.
She is, where else has she shown up? I know she was mentioned at least in Final. People have told me she's in Final Crisis. So is she another Harbinger type person? Is it her? The crying guy, what's his name?
The crying guy, the world's worst superhero pariah. My superpower is I can cry.
My tears shall heal the world.
Even the Weeper from Brave and the Bold has more dignity than Pariah.
But it seems like those three are always around going, crisis!
Crisis alert! Crisis alert! So, the Thunderer assembles a multiversity away team that's going to deal with this crisis that Harbinger just talked about. It composes of President Superman, Captain Carrot, an Aquawoman, Dino Cop, who is a Savage Dragon analog I never knew I wanted, and Red Racer, an alternate Flash who is a huge comic book geek. Because they figured out that each other's adventures are published in comic books in each other's universes.
Okay.
And so Dino Cop specifically, Dino Cop even specifically says, oh man, President Superman, I loved reading about you when I was a kid. This is so cool that you're a real person.
So here's my question again. Pause once more.
Yeah.
Does every universe, each one of the 52 worlds, do they get the other 50 worlds in the form of comic books, or do they only have a line to, like, the closest ones to them?
I could see that being a thing.
So that was kind of because honestly, he's trying to obviously make a parallel here that, as you'll talk about here in a little bit, it is all interlinked. Marvel Comics is just another one of the worlds, so to speak. Image Comics can exist out there as another world, so to speak, and blah, 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 blah.
I think they mentioned Spore, who is obviously their Spawn analog.
Or is it just because we're Earth 33, I guess? Is that us?
That's going to be us.
Okay.
That's going to be our literal world.
Yes, our literal world, that one's special, and we get all of them, or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just wanted to point it out. It was a question I had when I was reading it.
So
I had a lot of those, so I'm actually biting my tongue on a lot of them.
Yeah, so Red Racer tells his boyfriend that he's got to go along because these guys don't know DC from major comics.
I kind of like those two characters.
Yeah, they're in there for like all 3 panels, but I'm like, oh man, I already like these guys. Yeah. They then hop into a yellow submarine that travels through the multiverse via a musical harp navigation system.
Yeah, jazz harp.
Yeah, jazz harp. Yeah, so President Superman starts playing some wicked jazz, some Adele Paxton. Ghost goes, and they're trying to get back to Thunderer's Earth 7 so they can go and save Nyx. But
which people are assuming is Marvel's Ultimate Universe.
Possible.
That's what people are assuming, because where do they end up?
They end up on Earth 8, where Lord Havoc, a classic JLA villain who is a Doctor Doom analog, has taken control of many Marvel-style weapons that aren't Thor's hammer or the Cosmic Cube or Captain Marvel's Negabands.
Yes,
no, not at all.
Mjorn. Yes, Mjorn.
Mjorn. Yes. I love Mjorn.
Back from our Marvel episode.
Yeah, so Thunderer freaks out because he thought they were going to Earth 7, and they missed it by a universe. I do like the fact that he literally punches himself out, and what are they called? The Retaliators, who are nothing like the Avengers. It's like,
nothing.
Hey, why did you just punch yourself out there, guy?
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting
yourself? Yeah. Yeah, and so...
so that's why people are assuming if Earth 8 it looks like a more actual, fully fleshed out Marvel analog, and Earth 7 had a whole bunch of dead Marvel characters, that would make sense that that's the ultimate line. And if you read the synopsis on the map of Earth 7, it's even sadder. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
I noticed that they're doing each Earth that shows up on the website.
Yeah, the Earth 7 was, this world held so much potential, but sadly, horrible things happened here.
I do love... ... Oh, man. I love the fact that, Red Racer's just like, oh, man, we're obviously we're in major comics right now. And President Superman goes like, I don't really read these, but I have seen their movies.
Yeah.
Which is just, oh my gosh, brilliant. So then a giant blue baby in a diaper named Behemoth tries to bash Captain Carrot.
AKA not the Hulk.
Not the Hulk at all. But because
he's blue, and the Hulk isn't blue.
Yeah. But because Captain Carrot is a cartoon character, he gets squished and pops right back up. Cartoon physics. Big thumbs up.
Booyah!
Booyah. God, I love Captain Carrot. I hope him and Thunderer wind up back on Prime Earth somehow.
So it's quite literally right now we have a Marvel character, a Marvel Thor analog. Mm-hmm. We have a DC Superman analog. We have a Savage Dragon analog, a cartoon character, and a Flash-esque character.
Yeah.
Who is kind of our gateway character that's just kind of narrating mostly more than anything.
Just like, hey, guess what? He reads a lot of comics. He's you guys.
I'm the nameplate guy. I put the nameplates over everyone's head.
Yeah. And there's an Aquaman there who I'm sure will do something eventually. So they go to stop Lord Havoc, but he activates the Genesis egg, destroys himself, and out of the egg pops nightmare versions of Nyx, Wotan, and Mr. Stubbs. They have been turned into members of the Gentry. They've been gentrified.
One of us.
Yes. Oh, and a minor plot point. The comic you're reading might be alive, and it's constantly warning you to stop reading or else you're going to end reality.
That doesn't sound minor.
Grant Morrison!
So that seems to be the whole thing, that it's our interaction with the fiction that is driving everything. Mm-hmm. Or it's our reaction to the fiction that is causing the Gentry to destroy everything.
Yeah.
Because it is a manifestation of our reaction to the comic.
Yep.
Kind of. Maybe.
This made me a kid again. I just wanted to know every single thing about every single page. I wanted to go find annotations. I read all the crap on the website.
Really?
I love
I've been
this so
avoiding it
much.
because I like to at least absorb everything before it's done. And then if I'm just lost entirely, I'll come back and do it.
Well, I'm not
Or-
reading any interviews and stuff. I'm
No,
just
as far as
checking-
interviews or notations or anything like that, I'm even avoiding other people's thoughts on what's happening in it. I'm just like, no. I'm just trying to keep my slate perfectly clear, and I'll pick it up from there and try to piece together. Just let it wash
Well, like I
over
said,
me.
on the website, DC is kind of they're giving you little supplemental material about all of the worlds.
Yeah.
Like you said, you read that.
Yeah, the interactive map as they hit each one of the worlds,
Yeah.
which is a great idea. If you
Yeah,
want to make
I love-
things
I
less
love-
confusing, have a Rand McNally map of
Yes.
the multiverse
The,
right there.
the spine of the cover tells you all of the Earths that they go to in this issue. It's great.
Yes. Which, man, you need to do that more often.
Yes.
Oh, except not by the volume number or the issue number
Yeah.
or anything like that. I'll tell you what, though. The very concept on a metaphysical / philosophical level of the multiverse is terrifying to me. Absolutely terrifying. Like, I would just be, I don't know, paralyzed. I think it would probably be the best word if that was proven to be the way of the world. That's why Batman is all sulky and stuff, I think. He's put it together. Because if you think about it, just like I'm sure you do and everyone else, you go to bed at night, you run through your head some things that happened over the course of the day, and you're like, oh, well, maybe I could have done that a little bit different. Maybe things would have
life,
panned
yes.
out. Yeah. And then, obviously, in this whole multiversal thing, there is a world where you made that decision.
Yes.
Stupid multiversal crap.
Stupid multiverse.
Yes. But in that scenario,
The one Earth where Brian is running Disney like John Lasseter is.
but that's just it. In that scenario, you become just basically a castaway version of the ultimate you, because the end goal would be the you that made every right decision, correct?
Yeah.
So obviously, as soon as you make a wrong call, you've thrown away everything. You are no longer the ultimate you. Nah. And what if you would start interacting with yous that have made better decisions?
Stupid Earth 46, Brian.
You would start
Get outta
resenting
here.
them and hating them, which then could just be a whole form of self-loathing, especially if the multiverse, all of these different versions of you to form the ultimate you, you're just a microtesmal, tiny little fraction of the
Earth
whole
31,
you.
Brian thinks he's hot stuff in hot pants, but he's really not stuff in not pants.
To me, that's terrifying. I wouldn't be able to operate in that. Because no matter what, unless you are the ultimate you, you're a waste. You're just an extra. And even in the DC setting, where it's just major events, a la the Nazis won the war, or, I don't know, Superman landed in Russia, or these are the differences between the 52. It's confined to just 52, so it's not even based off of people and their decisions. At that point, you're relegated to just being a universal extra to the world. You don't matter. You're just there to react to the important things in the world. You're just there to scream and run when the building falls. That's it.
Oh, there's the crying guy. Nope, things can't be good here from here on out, is there?
It's just terrifying. It would suck so bad.
But it would possibly mean that I might be able to interact with Captain Carrot at one point, and everything would be better.
And I am all about new experiences. I am all about it, but that's where I draw the line. I just can't accept it. I can't. So screw you, Grant Morrison, for trying to make me read this and blaming your problems on me. It's not me. So yeah. Anyway, I liked it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I'm definitely vested because I have so many questions, and I'm just gonna have to be patient. I'm gonna have to be very, very patient. I'm hoping others are as well. I heard Final Crisis was not a good response overall because people just kind of threw up their arms and went, "Pfft, I have no idea. Why am I giving you money to be confused?" and just dropped off and quit.
See, whereas I read Final Crisis and was just like, why is everyone having such a hard time with this? It's so easy to understand.
Oh, Earth 33, Brian's so smart.
Yeah.
But that's it. That'll wrap up the first half. I recommend people give it a shot, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not necessary that you understand all the old stuff. You'll pick up a whole bunch of little things, like the tiny Justice Leaguers. There was a tiny Wonder Woman.
The chibi Wonder Woman in Steel who are just
they were
in the background.
They were in that Action Comics 9 because that was the Super Doom that was going through. That robot Super Doom, Superman Doom, was killing all the Supermans throughout the multiverse, and they killed their little chibi Superman.
I think they actually show up in Final Crisis at one point, too.
Oh, do they really?
Wrong. It's been a while since I read it.
Well, chibi Superman is no more. He was stomped on by Super Doom.
Badness.
So. But that'll do it. That'll wrap up first half. So, Brian, what do you have coming up for round 2?
All out of order. I got Supergirl. I've got Batwoman. I've got New 52, Future's End.
Not one of those was in right order.
Nope. I know they're not.
And I'll be bringing us the Batman Eternal, Batman and Robin, and, of course, I have to get prepped, got to get psyched for that Godhead with Green Lantern, New Guardians. So hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go through those books. For the Bat half of the show, so we might as well just dive on into Batman Eternal. It's eternal. Feels like it's eternal. It keeps coming. Keeps coming. It's like the Energizer Bunny of comics. Just keeps going and going and going. But in this case...
Is it going to keep going through September?
Yeah. Okay. I think all the weeklies run right through that September month,
right.
So there is no escape from the weekly wrath of Batman. In this case, though, we're first hitting Brazil.
And it's your wallet.
Where Batgirl and Red Hood and Batwoman were chasing down Dr. Falsario, trying to find, actually, as I put, Dr. Flassario, because apparently I can't type. They were actually chasing him down because they believe he had proof as to why James Gordon, the commissioner, was falsely accused of destroying that train car and is now in jail. Unfortunately, during the whole scuffle thing, he had mind-controlled Batgirl, there was a whole big scuffle-do, and Dr. Falsario escaped off into the jungle, and now Batgirl is chasing after him, but when she finds him, he has been murdered! Murdered by an assassin. Because there's a...
Assassins don't murder people, Sean.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
He's been assassinated. But there's a ninja sword stuck into the tree next to where his throat was cut. And she's like, he's been assassinated. Bolded assassins. So I'm assuming the League of Assassins had probably something to do with this. Probably. But when she does come back, she's a little dejected, but Red Hood goes, Hey, pretty girl, don't you worry. Don't you shed a tear, because Batwoman and I found all the proof you need. We have everything to prove that Commissioner Gordon had nothing to do with it, that he was falsely set up for this whole thing. And she gives them a big old hug, and they're going to head on back to Gotham City to clear Commissioner Gordon's name. Yay! Victory for the team!
I'm sure the people in charge of the police department will have no problems with this whatsoever.
None
Just immediately let him out.
Yep. Well, there also is the problem that he has to survive Oz, because that's where we're heading back to Blackgate Prison, where there's a full-scale prison riot going on, where the followers of the Penguin and the followers of Carmine Falcone are all locked up, and they have basically broken out to try to make their way to their opposing gang leader to murder him. And in this huge war that's erupted, they have taken all these prisoner guards hostage, and Commissioner Gordon has decided that he will use the chaos to help free the guards. He's going to go all Die Hard on us now. He's leaving Oz to go to Die Hard. So he's just making his way through. Oh no, I lost my shoes. There's broken glass everywhere. How will I make my way through? See you at the party, Richter.
I have a machine
gun. It's not even
gun.
the same movie, but...
Ho, ho, ho.
But he makes his way out.
Where's Reginald Vell Johnson cop when you need him?
He attacks Volt and his Penguin goons, but they overpower him, and they're about to murder Commissioner Gordon. And the elderly, the old statesman roommate, this grizzled old man by the name of Leo, who has been living with Commissioner Gordon in the prison, sees his roommate in trouble and casually strolls back to his cell, whistles a little tune as he shaves off his scraggly old man beard, and he's like, oh, looking good. Hey there, Mr. Old Man. Takes out his dentures.
Does he use a straight razor to do it?
I believe he does, actually.
Okay, yeah.
But he takes out his dentures. He's like, okay. And then becomes the poster child for Fixadent when he replaces his teeth with a lion maw and proceeds to tear the throats out of Volt and his penguin associates. I warned you, Volt. I warned you. I told you this was coming. And this turns out to be, his name is actually Rex Calabrese, the lion. Do you remember I mentioned him at least once?
Maybe.
Prior. This was the mob lord of Gotham City before Carmine Falcone.
Okay,
This is the guy that Carmine Falcone chased out. And they're all, every prisoner in there's like, oh crap, the lion's still out there. We are in big, big trouble. I don't think we followed the rule of succession here because technically I guess he's still in charge? I don't know how this works now.
Nice,
He's the Lion King. I knew you were going to go there. I knew it.
Yeah.
But of course, Commissioner Gordon goes, you're the lion.
Everywhere the light touches. It's like there's not much light. It's a prison.
It's Gotham City. Okay, everywhere the light doesn't touch, that is your domain.
Okay.
You're the lion, the ruler of Gotham's underground. Why are you sitting in Blackgate Prison as scraggly old man? He kind of shrugs his shoulders and goes, I don't know, atonement. There's lots of reasons why I would be here, but I am. That's just how it is. That's why I'm whiling away the last of my years here in prison.
Atonement. You know, I'm a big fan of subpar Keira Knightley movies.
And then Gordon goes, okay, but why would you expose yourself as the lion just to save me, the commissioner of the police department? Our two things are diametrically opposed. And he goes, whoa there, James Gordon. I didn't do that for you. That had nothing to do with you. This has 100% to do with your daughter. You see, my daughter grew up in Gotham City without a father figure. My daughter, who possibly could also have some sort of a fixation. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. With cats.
She was asphyxiated.
Well, if it was ugly cat, it could have been asphyxiated. But also has a fixation with cats and could maybe someday in the near future also become the crime lord of Gotham City. Just saying. But my daughter also grew up without a father, and I just didn't want to see that happen to yours. Indeed. Indeed. So I would say we're starting to get some full circle action here when it comes to
the circle of life.
Yeah, God, shut up. So let's leave the circle and head below Gotham City, where the 10-eyed man is leading his cult of chick zombie monsters and opening up a portal to summon some Lovecraftian old god horror by sacrificing a little child by the name of Jade, the most innocent person they could find in Gotham City. She's not entirely innocent, but it's Gotham City. You make do with what you can get. Yeah. And this whole fight erupts, and they end up pulling the girl away from this old god Lovecraftian portal, and all of a sudden the entire cavern just starts toppling down, blah, 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 but the four of them are able to escape, of course, Batman, Killer Croc, Lieutenant Bard, and Jade, the little girl. And as soon as they get to safety, what do you think Lieutenant Bard does, Ryan?
What does he do?
He tries to arrest Killer Croc.
I'm sure that goes perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. Actually, Killer Croc goes, dude, you crazy, and just knocks down the wall and backs away into the sewer and leaves the girl with Batman and says, you make sure she gets taken care of.
I was hoping he'd pull a dragon out of his back pocket, but I guess that's just never going to happen.
But no matter, the day is saved. They make it topside. Batman even looks at Lieutenant Bard and goes, maybe he has, turned another leaf. Maybe he's going to be a good person. He's not doing weird stuff, so maybe I've misjudged the guy. We'll see how it plays out from here. And our last little vignette, though, Stephanie Brown is typing on the interwebs. She has joined the gentry, complaining actually about how all she did was complain online. And now no one takes her seriously. She had all these fake BuzzFeed Joey style headlines, and now when she's trying to warn people about actual danger, no one gives a crap. No one believes her. So I guess if no one's going to stand with her, she's not going to back down. She's going to do this by herself, puts on this handy-dandy little purple costume and a ninja mask and goes, I guess I'll be the spoiler myself, and goes, huzzah, and jumps off into Gotham's night skyline. So that was the origin of Spoiler. Kind of light switchy there between little teenage girl hiding out in the library and now I'm the spoiler. Was that how she was done before? Did she have any training whatsoever? Or did she just kind of go, I'm the spoiler now and do things?
Yeah, again, I know of her only through like recaps in old Wizard magazines. I really I never actually read any of her stuff.
Well, we'll see. As I said, it was a little bit of a light switch for me where I was like, well, that's a big jump where you're just going to go kung fu kick people now, I guess. But I guess she was in the library, 5-Finger Death Punch book or something, and off you go. Enjoying it. I love it. I'm kind of sad the Oz prison riots are over.
Yeah, well,
it was awesome. It was what I was looking for, but it's not completely over. We still have the gangs there.
Yes,
and Rat Tail is still alive.
Rat Tail is still alive for now.
Maybe he'll be the only survivor, the only one to escape. But woo! So Brian, keep it bat.
Keep it bat. Batwoman.
Yep,
Batwoman.
do it.
All right. So Batwoman, she's on a rooftop fighting Madame Nocturna. Her boy toy Night Thief, who just got a name this issue, and hired assassin Killshot, who's trying to kill Madame Nocturna. And, so there's a big old tussle, big old fight. Batwoman loses her mask at one point, and Nocturna sees her. And she's like, ooh, I know who you are.
You're a sexy girl.
Yes. Night Thief gets shot, and both he and Nocturna fall off the roof.
Man, you played that a lot quicker than I thought, because that fight scene was really, really fun between everyone up there.
Well, yeah.
Because no one had a side, and everyone was just like, shoot him, shoot who? I don't know, shoot everyone.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, take up some time here.
I know.
Yeah. So Batwoman, she ties up Killshot and leaves him for the police, and she goes back off to her apartment. Maggie Sawyer comes back, and her ex-husband, dropped the custody case.
Hey, how convenient. Out of the blue like that,
I know.
too.
But Kate has to break up with her. Boo. That's part of the deal that Kate made with her ex, but she played it off that she didn't want her daughter to lose her mother and would have time to spend with her. So, sad face, even though it's really all her fault.
Yes. That made a lot of people very, very angry, by the way.
I can imagine.
Yes.
I can imagine.
The fact that this was how it ended, even for right now, even if it is a temporary measure, that this was the actions taken by Batwoman was to back down and just be like, okay, well, I'll keep our scary lesbian relationship shelved so that you can raise your daughter.
Not so much the lesbian relationship, it's more the...
to the ex-husband.
Yeah.
Because that was why he made it his criteria was he doesn't know she's Batwoman. He just knows that she's in a lesbian relationship with her and didn't want the child raised in a house like that. So rather than fight against it, she just went, I will back away.
Wasn't it part of it because she came home all bloody the one night and the daughter told him?
Yeah, but that wasn't
That's
really...
a little bit more, it's like, your girlfriend's a little weird and covered in blood. That's not really where I could totally see his stand for. It's like, yeah, I don't care if you're dating another woman, but the other woman coming home covered in blood, that's where I draw the line.
See, I got a lot of subtext that he was just against the relationship entirely.
I could also just see him grumpy because,
Yeah. You know what he could do? Go to YouTube, look up some Grumpy Cat videos.
Maybe he could.
By the way, Spoiler mentioned Grumpy Cat the movie as well.
Oh, really?
Because she was writing a review for Grumpy Cat the movie.
Okay.
So Grumpy Cat's all over the place, man.
Now, did she call it Krabby Cat or was it Grumpy Cat?
It was Krabby Cat.
Okay, cool. So Krabby Cat showed up in both. That's fantastic. That makes me so happy.
So that's the common link between Spoiler and the Teen Titans, so now she can go hang out with them.
Well, they're doing all that.
Like, Krabby Cat, hey!
Well, the Typin' Titans and Spoiler should get along just fine.
Yes.
So. Hey, Tim Drake, right there. Right there.
There you go, bud.
Make people happy. So later that night, Maggie sneaks into Batwoman's bedroom for a little breakup fooling around. But it's not Maggie, it's Nocturna, and she bites Kate, and now she's a vampire. Ah! I'm waving my hands around like Kermit the Frog.
Which entirely explains the next month's 5 years later, where it's just Batwoman as a vampire on the front, and I was like, how did we get there? And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's how we got there.
Yes, I forget where it showed up, but I saw a cover for a few months down the line, and I am so, so happy.
Ah, yes, you finally saw it.
Yes.
Yes. Because you were complaining about the team-ups that she was having and how you wanted specific people. I was like, don't you worry your pretty little head about that. You're going to get some team-ups coming down the line.
Yeah. Am I ever?
Yes. Other than the breakup thing,
yeah,
I thought it was well handled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a realistic moment and everything, but I can understand why people are a little salty about that one.
I could see why, but as someone who started off strictly with the Mark and Draco stuff, doesn't really bother me at all.
No.
Sorry, everybody.
Well, don't forget, there was 20-odd issues leading up to a proposal / supposedly marriage that was leading into this whole thing.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a ouch turn for the people that were in it for the long haul.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So, let's move to a different Bat book, though. Full of cabbages and kings and comic bookery to the highest order. Actually, this one, not so much. Not so much. Batman and Robin, number 34. You remember what's happening in this one,
There's
right?
a walrus and a carpenter in this one?
No.
Okay.
Batman found out that Damian, the body of Damian, was taken to Apokolips and has now made it his mission to go to Apokolips himself and get his son's body back. And the only way he can do it is if he has his mystically forged Hellbat armor that is unfortunately locked in the closet in the Watchtower.
Yeah.
And the Justice League won't let him have it. So he has called together his Bat family, and that is Red Hood, Red Robin, and Batgirl. And he goes, hey, kids, long time no see ever since that death of the family thing. So we cool now? Everything good? You guys still mad at me? And they're like, yeah, we still hate you with every fiber of our being. So what? And he goes, okay, well, let's clear the air on that first. Guys, I'm sorry. I completely Batmaned that situation up. I should have told you a completely homicidal clown knew your secret identities and could harm your family members and people you love. Yes, maybe I should have mentioned that. I'm sorry. I will never hold anything back from you again. They go, oh yeah, until it's convenient, because that's what you do. You Batman things up like that. And he goes, no, for realsies this time. Never gonna lie or keep something secret from you guys.
So Batmaning has replaced Britta-ing something?
Yes. And they go, fine, okay, we're in. What's the deal?
You're not gonna dissect Frankenstein again, are you?
Well, actually, that comes up.
Yeah.
Because they're like, so why did you call us all here then? He goes, well, don't know if you guys know this. Damian's body was stolen, and it's on Apokolips now. And they're all like, whoa. That's a story that needs to be told. How did we get from point A to point B here? And he goes, well, there was a bunch of team-ups with my Justice League friends. I met Frankenstein, and even Red Robin is like, that had to have been awkward. And there were Yetis, and then eventually a boom tube opened, and some guy named Godfrey took him back to Apokolips. Tried to get my Hellbat armor from the Justice League, but they won't let me have it, so yeah, I'm heading over to Apokolips
and
now.
Batgirl's just like, are you sure this is a Batman comic? I'm very confused. I was fighting someone in a parking garage for the past 20 issues. What's going on?
Bear traps were my biggest issue,
Yes.
not but like 2
Why
months
don't
ago.
I get to fight aliens?
But everyone's there. As soon as he goes, I'm heading to Apokolips, both Red Hood and Red Robin, like the true brothers they are just like, hey, we're in. Let's do it. We're going to die horrible deaths, but let's do it, man. I'm in it like to win it. And he goes, no, the thing is, I'm probably going to die in this mission. Now, last time I died, you guys all fought over the cowl. There was this whole battle for the cowl, and we can't have that. Dick Grayson's dead now, so he's not there to pick up the whole Batman thing. Clearly, he would be the next in line to do it. You guys need to work together. Keep Gotham safe. Do not fight each other. It's just a costume. You have your own. But I need you guys to promise to keep Gotham safe while I'm gone. And they all go, okay, hands in. Hoorah, Team Batman. And the three of them go riding off. Red Hood, Batgirl, and Red Robin to keep Gotham safe. Now, out of the shadows, jumps Dick Grayson, who's been spying on the whole thing. And he's like, hey, buddy. How's it going?
He looked so happy.
He did. He was so happy in that. Oh, you read this issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the one Batman that is not on my list that I will always read.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, he jumps down. He's all like, "Hey, man, are you sure I can't come to Apocalypse with you?" If you remember, me and Damian had like a whole thing going. Technically, he was my Robin more than yours, even. I know he's your son and all, but I kind of took him under my wing. He is my Robin. It's no different than if any of us were in this type of peril. You would do everything. I should be there as well. And he goes, "No, I actually need you to do me a favor, and it's critical for me to even get there. I need you to use your spiral contacts to make a bunch of diversions to pull the Justice League away from the Watchtower so I can sneaky Batman my way in and steal my Hellbat. I'm sorry, my mythically forged Hellbat armor." And that's what he does. He makes like fake tidal waves and earthquakes and all this stuff, and all the Justice League fly off.
Isn't there a holographic Man-Bat at one point?
There is. Because that's what you have to use. Mm-hmm. That's a Justice League level threat, a Man-Bat. If that was a Justice League level threat, they would just move the Watchtower to Gotham City. So Batman sneaks his way in, steals the Hellbat armor, and the only people to figure it out are the people that are left on the station, and that's Lex Luthor and Captain Cold, who gets one panel of him just floating in the space station with a confused face as he just floats by. I love Captain Cold so much. But Lex Luthor finds him, goes, I should be stopping you, but really, man, you're kind of the pinnacle of everything that I'm fighting for myself as Lex Luthor. You're a normal man who has used your intellect, your power, your money to make yourself this pinnacle of humankind. That's what I do too. Mm-hmm. I'm just Lex Luthor. I'm just so awesome, and I've put myself up on this pedestal. I'm gonna help you out. This is like the whole Justice League forged armor. I'm a member of the Justice League now, so let me do my little part. And he plugs in his computer and like enhances the strength on it and the reflex time of the computer on it. And he's like, "Yeah, now I'm an official Justice League member. I just did my thing with the Hellbat armor." So enjoy your trip. Have fun. Hopefully you make it back. Odds aren't
bring me
with
back
you.
a T-shirt.
Yeah, odds are with you, but you get on out there and do it. And then he opens up his
bobblehead granny goodness.
He opens up his boom tube, and it is Batman all alone in his giant winged Hellbat armor, standing in front of the fire pits of Apocalypse as he wades into hell itself to bring back the body of his son. Yes! I really like this title. I really, really like it. I say it all the time. Tomasi is so underrated. You just don't hear him talked about that much.
No.
It's just yeoman work being done, and it's just solid month in and month out, and I absolutely enjoy it. Gleason as well does a great job on this. This is Gleason on this one, right?
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
And it's fun. I really, really enjoyed it. This one was really kind of a quiet.
Yeah.
It's the follow-up to Death of the Family.
The pure distilled comics it's been the past few issues.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a down issue, yeah.
It got a lot done, considering the Death of the Family stuff has been kind of a driving thing between the Bat family for a year now. It's kind of nice to see that has run its course, and they're all going to be friends again, but we'll see where it goes from here.
We're taking a month break. Everything will be fine and happy afterwards.
Yeah, we'll be back, and everything will be good. So you have another book.
I do have stuff to do, don't I?
Yep. You got a weekly of your own here.
Oh, yes. New 52 Futures End number 16.
Yeah.
Number 16. 5 years in the future.
5 years in the future.
First off, we check in with Stormguard, the superhero with the tattered American flag sash that we do not know anything about.
Nope. And we continue to not know much about as far as who he is.
But he breaks up a former military man's identity theft drug deal thing.
Using Earth 2 DNA, which I thought was actually really kind of cool.
Yeah.
That they used their Earth 2 counterparts because everything's DNA encoded so that you can pass through borders. They find the Earth 2 counterpart of the person that they need so that they can make the stupid ID of it. And I was like, that's kind of a tricky way of doing it. I guess if there is another person with that DNA, may as well use it.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it have left-hand particles on it?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Earth 2 people have left-hand particles.
Yes, they do. They do. Yeah, so they, but Stormguard and the other guy, they both go easy on each other because they're both vets of the Earth 2 war.
Kind of a Captain America vibe from this guy, this Stormguard.
Slightly.
With the energy shield and the American flag cape and the...
He had an energy shield?
Yeah,
Oh.
he could form an energy shield on his arm there.
Okay.
So, kind of, just
a smidge. All right. Most importantly, this issue. We check in on Cadmus Island. First off, King Faraday sees Mr. Miracle drop his cloak for a moment. He's like, why would he do that? It's like, I guess he kind of already knew that he was sneaking around, but now he's got proof of it.
Yep.
And we just see a brief little panel of Mr. Miracle looking at a bunch of screens that either say run, scan, run, or run, Scott, run. It's a little too small.
Yes, can't quite read it.
Yeah.
He's enhance.
Yes.
Why isn't this enhancing? It's 5 years from now.
Yes. Then he checks in with 50 Sue, who is busy trying to make Deathstroke and Earth 2 Lana Lang her new mom and dad.
Yes.
Come on, mom and dad, won't you two start kissing and like get married already so we can be a family?
Yes! I love this turn of events.
Poor Grifter's the wacky neighbor. He's off behind the door. He doesn't even get to show up. He's like, hey guys, aren't I important? It's like, no, the most important thing right now is 50 Sue making Deathstroke and Earth 2 Lana Lang her mom and dad.
They're going to go look for the cloaked Omax out
like,
there.
Hey guys, let's go stealth Omac hunting.
Yeah, woo, it's like an Easter egg hunt for the family.
Family fun trip. Family fun trip. Let's go hunt stealth Omax. Mr. Terrific is going whole hog on U-Sphere production and is talking with Brother I, who is coming to his planet. So Brother I is Brainiac?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Although,
or at least he's stealing from his playbook.
In my catch-up with the countdown stuff, I read the Villains United book.
Yeah.
Why has no one told me that there's a character by the name of Mr. Terrible who can't do anything right? Like, he tries to kill people and misses all the time, and he has the old Mr. Terrific costume, except it says foul play on it.
Yes. I thought that was Mr. Horrific, but maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
No, it's Mr. Terrible. And why did no one tell me this man existed? Why is he not in use right now?
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
That's all right. Lois Lane goes driving right into a rampage attack where Masked Superman fights her, gets the bottom of his mask broken off, and punched across town. And now Lois Lane's in quite the pickle as Rampage is like, hey, you puny reporter lady.
Squish.
Squish, yep. We also check in with Frankenstein and company, who are trapped on not a planet by former Stormwatch member The Engineer, but who is talking in the Brother I font. And guess what? The planet is really a spaceship, and it's Brainiac's spaceship, and there's a giant army of Brainiac skeleton robots.
Like old school Brainiacs.
Yes, the old skeleton robot Brainiac. So it's Brainiac, guys. In case the Nova Corps logo being everywhere didn't set you off, it is in fact Brainiac.
Oh, I get what you're saying now. Yeah. Okay, I was confused for a moment there. Yes, Brainiac appears to be our big bad in this.
Yes.
That was kind of a surprise for me. I knew Brainiac was involved. I didn't know he was going to be the big bad, though.
Yeah.
Because we've had the subtle hints with the iconography. Why can I never say that word?
No.
The iconography of Brainiac all over the Nova Corps insignia, as you call it. So I just assumed he was going to have another little role to play with.
No, it seems like he's manipulating Brother I.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I guess would make sense.
Yeah.
Being computers, both of them.
Yes.
Did they get along before? Did they ever meet before?
I don't know.
I would think they did.
I don't know.
It'd be hard not to.
Yeah, really.
Oh, well, we'll see. So I'm going to go to space again, too.
Okay.
Because I have Green Lantern New Guardians. So that we can wrap up the storyline going there, because it is Kyle, Carol, and the Guardians of the Universe against the Scions. These people that the Guardians had
very boxy cars.
Yes. These lizard people that the Guardians had experimented on, and then when they were finished with them, said, okay, we're going to come with you, and the Guardians went, no, you're not. You're going to stay here on this planet. You guys are kind of slow-witted, so they left, and the Scions have decided, oh, well, genetic tampering, that's what we're supposed to do until we're good enough to hang out with the Guardians, so let's do it. Unfortunately, they've taken it to the point of horrific nightmare experiments where they are, H.R. Geiger's ship is flying around doing disgusting body art with pieces of people attached to others, and yeah, it's not good, and tubes running into eyeballs, and it's not pretty. So probably a good idea for them to get out of there, and it is Kyle and Carol.
Good idea for me not to read this issue.
No, probably not. Kyle and Carol versus the leader, who is wearing this robot armor that seems to be powered by a mother box. Like in the middle of it, like the big power unit is this mother box going ping, 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 ping. And the Scion leader is using it to shunt away any of the ring energy that they're blasting at him. But luckily, one of the Guardians, a guy by the name of Quaros, the one that got away and was initially captured by the Scions, he has infiltrated the systems of their ship and released...
Is he the one that got, like, torn apart into different pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one with all the tubes that replace his eyes and, the arms hanging next to him.
Yeah.
And, that one. His brain removed and plugged into the computer. Yep. Just attached by that stringy little brain stem with the goop and viscera dripping off it.
Yeah.
That's the one. Well, he has infiltrated their systems and releases the other Guardians as well as all of the other horrific nightmare experiments that turn upon the Scions. And working together, all of them are able to topple the Scions, but there's just no stopping them. They keep coming. What the heck? So, Quaros decides he's going to make up for his sins. The Guardians need to make restitution. They're responsible for this. So he creates a little bubble around his friends, launches them off into space, says his farewells as his other Guardians go, "No, Quaros!" and self-destructs the ship with everyone on it, destroying everyone and ending his nightmarish existence as a free-floating brainstem and severed limbs inside the ship of the Scions. Phew. The Guardians, though, are crushed. The ones that survived, they're not used to this type of thing. And even Kyle and Carol are kind of like, I don't know how they're going to react to this. I know when Guardians get overly emotional, bad things tend to happen. So we should probably keep a close eye on these guys. And as they go flying away, we see out in deep space, the little mother box is the only thing that survived, it going ping, ping, ping. And I don't know if this is out of order because if your Green Lantern Corps, was it? Or was it Green Lantern? It was in Green Lantern that a mother box was out in deep space that opened up and brought the New Gods out, High Father and the other New Gods. And I don't know if it's this mother box. And it was because it was shunting through the energy that Kyle was shooting through, and it would obviously give a hint of the possible life equation that he has, that it maybe set off some red flags somewhere, and they went, hey, what's going on at that mother box?
Maybe.
And came through. And all they know it was a Green Lantern. Green Lantern energy and life equation. Get all the Green Lanterns together. It would make sense, but I don't know if that was accidentally out of order or how that actually reads. Or just two separate bridges into the New God stuff. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm going to read it. It was out of order because that makes more sense to me.
Yes.
That's how I do it. But
not necessarily taking place in chronological order as they get released.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm so stoked for Godhead.
Yes.
So stoked for Godhead. So, wrap up the show for me, Brian.
Supergirl 34. It's Superman doomed bracket last son bracket colon lowercase chapter number 3 retro love font the girl who fell to earth.
What was this book again? I just have Supergirl 34 in front of me.
So, Supergirl falls to Earth on account of all the kryptonite in the air and wakes up in the apartment of a young black gentleman. And she's all, where am I? And he's all, well, this worked for Batman back in 0 years, so here I am.
I'm just going to join up with your super crew now.
Yeah.
I got my grifter mask.
Yep. Yeah, and also he's in a wheelchair. Doesn't really matter much, but that's just so you can picture what's going on. Because it's Supergirl, she recaps everything that's happened to her over the past few
She does
months,
do that a
over
lot.
few pages.
She does do that a lot.
And she wants to know, why don't you hate me like everyone else does? And so Michael, the guy, says, well, he was in the crowd one day when she fought a bunch of aliens, and he knows that she's nice.
Back in Supergirl number 8.
Yeah. And he goes, and you're nice looking, too. He's a smoothie. He's a smoothie. So she flies from Queens to Metropolis to make sure his parents in Metropolis are safe because he can't get a hold of them on.
Because everyone's
the phone.
comatose.
Everyone's comatose.
From the Brainiac attack.
Yep. Brainiac attack.
Brainiac attack.
She does.
Woo! Thought you killed Martians, right?
So she finds his parents, And so she goes back and tells him that, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful. Thank you for finding my parents." And then he gives her a kiss because shoot, what has he got to lose? And
yeah,
then,
you might as well make that play at that point.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Honestly, hats off, man.
Yeah.
You just got to take the dive because you're probably going to die in a horrible, horrible accident.
Carpe diem,
Some
man.
sort of crisis
Carpe
the next
diem.
day or two.
Yeah. So,
Who was that guy crying over there? Oh, no.
Yeah, so she's ready to go kiss him some more, when immediately Brainiac's Avenger Skyworm immediately sucks the life force out of him, and he sends her dad, the cyborg Superman, after her as well.
But she doesn't know it's her dad.
No.
Da, da,
Man.
da, da.
Like I said, Brainiac, worst wingman on the planet. I'm gonna suck the life force out of your boyfriend, and I'm gonna send your dad after you.
Yeah, that is pretty rough.
Awkward.
That does kind of mess up the Mackin vibes right there. What are you thinking though? Do you like the lighter tone when it comes to, not lighter tone, but the more personal tone, I guess, with
It was
Supergirl?
more smiling in this issue than there
It
has
was
been recently. Yeah.
She seemed much less angsty, so maybe the whole Red Lantern thing has cleared her of some of that anger that she had.
Maybe she'll start being being a little bit happier, hanging out with Stargirl.
Yeah. Making out with Michael?
Yeah.
Pry doesn't show up again.
Yeah.
Stupid Pry.
It's like, I like you, Michael.
I
You know,
know
Cyborg tried hitting on me once, but he just reminds me of my dad for some reason. I don't know why.
Booyah! But that's it. That wraps us up for this episode. Brian, I don't even know why I'm asking you this question. What's your pick for this week?
Obviously it's Supergirl.
Obviously. I think we're both going to say Multiversity just for something weird out there. So what's your second pick for this week? We'll do it that way.
Oh, my second pick. You know what? I'm going to go back to Teen Titans again. I like what they're working with there.
Good. I was curious how much you were enjoying it. That was kind of why I was asking the question. Mine, I'm going to stick with the Batman Eternal or Batman and Robin. So
Yeah.
they're both pretty even in my book as far as running really solid and really enjoyable reads. But make sure you guys go out there and buy these books. You have to support the medium. If you don't buy them, they won't make them, and no one wins. All these stories will dry up. Things like even books that I complained about that I try to give the benefit of the doubt. Like a Pandora that found its voice in the final issue. It could have been the start of something awesome moving down the point, but we didn't buy it. So, well, I bought it, but
Yeah.
we, the collective comic book buying gentry, we didn't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
The comic book buying gentry, did you get that? Huh?
Yes, I know.
Got it?
I see what you're doing, yeah.
But
And hey, I didn't know that I needed Kenneth Rocafort drawing Grumpy Cat. I didn't
now
know.
you do. Now you do. But as an aside, before we get into the whole next week's book thing, we are going to take a little bit of a break next month during the whole 5 years later. I just want to give you guys head notice. We're going to go to a bi-weekly schedule just for the month of September. Just to give us a little bit of breathing room. It's been almost 2 years of every single week, and we have some stuff that we need to get done on the weekends, so we're going to get it done then.
Yeah.
And as such, then we'll be able to come back in October refreshed, renewed. I don't know, something else that starts with an R-E.
Wait, we're going to be nude?
No, renewed.
Yeah, we're going to be nude again? I don't remember us being ever nude while we're doing this.
But before we get to then, so don't panic, guys. We'll still cover stuff. It's just we're going to only release the 2 episodes next month instead of the 4. And we'll pick it up back to the normal schedule once October hits. Next week, we have books. There are books to read. So let's go over them. Brian, we got Batman, Superman number 13, Future's End number 17, Justice League Dark number 34, Flash number 34. Looks like the travels through time are coming to an end. The destination will be reached, but is it the final destination? Who knows?
Final countdown?
No, I was going for more someone's gonna die, final death,
Okay.
whatever. Aquaman number 34 with creepy Creature King on the cover. Cyborg's going booyah on the cover of Secret Origins number 5. Star Spangled War stories featuring G.I. Zombie number 2. He's
so excited for that.
riding a missile, shooting terrorists. Yes, he learned from Deathstroke. He knows how to do it. Maybe he's going to fly it straight into North Korea. I don't know. Return that missile, sir. Superman number 34 continues the Jeff Johns, John Romita stuff. Batman Eternal number 21. Harley Quinn number 10. looking mighty
Did
tough.
we just have a Harley Quinn this month
It's gone
already?
bi-weekly now.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. Catwoman number 34, the final Nocenti written issue of Catwoman.
Aw.
That's what it is. I'm sorry, man. Sinestro number 5, Red Lanterns number 34, in which we get to learn the fate of the Red Lanterns title. Because it's the final battle between Guy Gardner and Atrocitus on who's taking over this book.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot riding on this issue, man.
White knuckle issue.
And I honestly don't know. I'm blatantly telling you, I do not know, because Charles Soule will completely throw us off our game, and I'm not looking ahead on that one.
Yeah.
Explicitly not. All-Star Western 34, the last issue.
I know All-Star Western, but I love the fact that we have people actively trying to come up with like no prize ways that Zilius Zox can come back to life.
I did see that. There are a couple ways that are just between the time zones or the release schedule in Brazil.
Yes.
I know you had that one. And then
someone had another one this week, and I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it. I'll throw it in our comments for next week so you get proper dues for it. But yeah, everyone's trying to find a way to keep him alive. I'm telling you, he's his own airbag.
Yeah.
He may just roll right out of there. Fingers crossed. But that's it. That's all the books coming out next week. But if you do want to if you want to give us your theory on how Zilius Zox survived, you can do so on the internet. We're DCR Podcast pretty much everywhere. You can email us at feedback@dcrpodcast.com. Other than that, you know how it works. Just type in DCR Podcast in Google and you'll see all that stuff out there and click on whichever one you want. That's how it works. Brian, do you have anything before we take off?
No, that's going to be it.
It's so weird without a third mic.
I know.
It's just you and me having a conversation. I don't like talking to you.
Yeah, I know.
I like having that proxy third mic so that we don't have to actually directly speak to one another and just feed it all through that. Tell Brian that I do not believe whatever he just said.
Tell Sean I'm not talking to him anymore.
But guys, I guess that's it. So enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you next week.